The story of the Super Bowl. Several sporting events take place during the year, but none attracts fans and non-sports fans as much as this one. Whether it is simply to watch the commercials or to watch their beloved team take the crown yet again, the Super Bowl is one almost everyone worldwide anticipates. But how did we get here? What's the story behind this oh-so-popular sport? The origin of the Super Bowl. The origins of the Super Bowl are linked to the creation of the AFL, American Football League, founded in 1959 with its first season in 1960. Out of frustration that the NFL refused to allow the expansion of franchises, a group of businessmen who wanted their pro football franchises started it. The American Football League, an alternative league, began playing a more wide-open football brand. This resulted in the start of a rivalry that eventually made professional football the most popular spectator sport ahead of baseball. The Super Bowl would not have existed had the NFL not rebuffed Lamar Hunt, a Texas oilman who tried to buy an NFL team several times. In response to the rebuttal, he founded his own league, convincing 7 others to join him. Together, they launched the American Football League and began planning to compete with the NFL. How did the grand competition start? The AFL was considered a second-class citizen, was mocked by the media, and ridiculed by the NFL. Even CBS covered NFL games and would not report the AFL scores. Nevertheless, this league would not back down. Moreover, it offered more modern, flashy, and fun football games. As the league grew, a bidding war for players began between the AFL and the NFL, with the salaries of players in both leagues skyrocketing. As a result, both leagues eventually agreed to a merger. In 1966, the NFL and AFL signed a merger agreement, continuing their regular play and meeting for a neutral competition. They would choose a neutral site facility where the winner of each league would compete, and the world champion would be chosen. At the time, the competition was called the AFL-NFL World Championship Game. The first 4 Super Bowls were played prior to the official merger in 1970, with the nickname Super Bowl first being used in the 3rd Super Bowl in 1969. Who chose the name Super Bowl and how it stuck? There are different stories of how the AFL-NFL competition got the name Super Bowl, but there's only one true story. Lamar Hunt, the main founder of the AFL and owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, first suggested the name Super Bowl in a letter to NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle, where he wrote, "I have kiddingly called it the Super Bowl, which can obviously be improved upon." He recalled that the name probably was in his head because his children played with a so-called Super Ball toy. The name Super Bowl was rejected by Rozelle and league owners at first, but was picked up by players in the media shortly after when referring to the championship game. With the 3rd championship game, the name Super Bowl became official. How the Super Bowl became popular. The first Super Bowl was held in January 1967 between the Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs. While the hype was far from today's, many already anticipated the event. When the game did happen, over 51 million television viewers were reported to have seen it. This was the largest viewership any American sporting event had ever amassed at the time. The game became popular since then. Then, as cable TV, the internet, and other entertainment options rose, so did the popularity of the Super Bowl. The NFL estimated a global figure of 208+ million viewers for the Super Bowl in 2022, which included 101 million television viewers and 11.5 million streamers from the United States. The Super Bowl trophy and championship rings. The first Super Bowl trophy was named World Professional Football Championship Trophy and was renamed to Vince Lombardi Trophy in honor of the NFL coach Vince Lombardi after he passed away in 1970. He was the head coach who led the Green Bay Packers to victories in the first 2 Super Bowl games. The new trophy was first handed out at Super Bowl V. Every year, a completely new trophy is cast by Tiffany & Company, made entirely from sterling silver, weighing 7 pounds or 3.7 kilograms. The team winning it maintains permanent possession of it. The trophy is worth $10,000, but of course it's deemed priceless by most since it's the biggest achievement in the sport of American football. In addition to the trophy for the team, each player and all other team members of the winning team receive a Super Bowl ring. Those are normally made with either rose or yellow gold and diamonds. Engraved is usually the team name, their logo, the words World Champions, the number of the Super Bowl they are connected to, and for players customized with their name and uniform number. Experts value each ring between $30,000 and $50,000, which in the past has mostly been made by the jewelry company Jostyn, and in some cases by Tiffany & Company or Balfour. Past winners and records. Since the inception of the Super Bowl, we have seen several winners go home with the big trophy. With 11 appearances, the New England Patriots are on top of the list when it comes to appearances, and they have come out as champions 6 times. The Pittsburgh Steelers have also been crowned champions 6 times out of their 8 appearances, followed by the Dallas Cowboys with 5 wins out of 8 appearances, and the San Francisco 49ers, who have also been crowned champions 5 times out of 7 appearances. The Green Bay Packers and New York Giants each won the Super Bowl 4 times, and all other winner teams 3 times or less. Talking about records, one name that will keep popping up is that of Tom Brady. With 333 regular season games, 15 Pro Bowl appearances, and 19 division titles among others, Tom Brady is a 7-time Super Bowl champion who still holds the record of the player with the most Super Bowl wins. Super Bowl commercials. Considering that the Super Bowl is one of the most followed events in the United States and some other parts of the world, it is no surprise that companies leverage it as an opportunity to reach a wider audience. With more than 100 million views on TV and several online streaming platforms, you should expect that it will cost companies a lot of money to have their ads featured. An average Super Bowl ad runs for about 30 seconds, but there are some companies that do not mind paying some extra money to have their ads run for 45 seconds or even a minute. And while the cost of running a 30-second ad was about $37,500 to $42,500 in 1967, it was about $6.5 million in 2022. It gets more interesting to note that the Super Bowl runs between 80 and 90 commercials every year. Entertainment, pregame, and halftime shows. Before the Super Bowl starts every year, the national anthem is always sung, and this year it will be led by American country singer Chris Stapleton. After this, certain songs that have been selected will be presented by specific people, and these songs and people differ every year. For every Super Bowl, there is always a halftime show that lasts between 12 and 15 minutes. This show is mostly linked to pop culture, featuring top entertainers from across the globe and aims at increasing the reach of the event. It would interest you to note that the entertainers featured at halftime are not always selected by the NFL. Instead, the host towns are allowed to choose from a list compiled by the NFL who they want to take the stage. In previous years, the Super Bowl has seen people like Justin Timberlake, the Rolling Stones, Lady Gaga, Maroon 5, Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, and Janet Jackson graced the stage. Last year, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, and Mary J. Blige were all available for the halftime show. In September 2022, Rihanna was chosen to headline the halftime show of Super Bowl 2023. This will be her first live performance in 5 years. When asked about her plans for the show, Riri, as she is fondly called, replied that she will incorporate a lot of cultures. Jay-Z also referenced to her as a generational talent, self-made in business and entertainment, and a cultural force. Rihanna was selected by Apple Music, which was announced as the Super Bowl halftime show's new naming rights sponsor. Super Bowl officials. Talking about officials for the Super Bowl, from 1967 until 1978, 6 officials were selected to regulate the Super Bowl, namely a referee, umpire, down judge, who before 2017 was called the head linesman, line judge, field judge, and back judge. However, in 1978, a 7th official was added, the side judge. By 1987, an extra official known as the replay official was added. 7 officials and 1 replay official will be featured at Super Bowl 57. Carl Sheffers will be the lead referee, while Roy Ellison will be the umpire and John Jenkins as the field judge. Jeff Bergman, Dino Paganelli, and Gerard Phillips will be the line judge, back judge, and down judge, respectively. Then, Eugene Hall will be the side judge, and Mark Butterworth will be the replay official. Super Bowl 57, date and venue. The 2023 Super Bowl, themed Super Bowl 57, is scheduled at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona on Sunday, February 12th. The game will be the 4th Super Bowl event hosted by the Phoenix metropolitan area and will be televised by Fox. This year's Super Bowl location was unilaterally decided, unlike before when cities submitted bids for hosting rights. A city was chosen using a new system introduced to select the Super Bowl hosting site. The city then puts a proposal, voted upon at the league owners' meetings. The first location chosen using this system was Arizona, and its proposal was unanimously accepted in May 2018. On February 14, 2022, the official logo for the event was unveiled. The logo features the updated template with the image of a desert canyon and sky reflecting the host region's landscapes. However, in February also, more than 200 liberal religious leaders petitioned Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, to change the location. A complaint of voting restrictions being levied through Arizona's bills was leveraged against the Arizona legislature. According to the legislature, access to gender reassignment procedures was restricted for minors. It also bans transgender girls who were born male from playing on girls' sports teams. The objections nonetheless, Super Bowl 57 will still be held in Arizona. Who is playing at Super Bowl 57? The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles will be competing at this year's Super Bowl event. Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs, coached by Andy Reid, are advancing to their 5th Super Bowl appearance. The team has endured the loss of Tyreek Hill, a star wide receiver who was traded to the Miami Dolphins. Despite this loss, Kansas City finished the year as the NFL's best offense, leading in yards and points. This being their 5th Super Bowl, the team has won Super Bowls 4 and 54, as well as the AFL Championship in 1962. Philadelphia Eagles. Under the leadership of Nick Sirianni as head coach, the Philadelphia Eagles recorded a feat of 14-3. They will play at the Super Bowl after outshining the 2 playoff opponents they faced, the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. This year's Super Bowl will be the team's 4th Super Bowl appearance, having previously won Super Bowl 52 at the end of the 2017 season. With everyone counting down to the big day of the Super Bowl, there are a lot of twists and turns to expect from teams and players. You sure do not want to miss out on any moment of this amazing game. Thanks for watching.